The saloon doors groaned as the wind pushed them open, carrying in a swirl of dust that crawled across the wooden floor like a warning. Inside, the air was thick with pipe smoke, spilled beer, and the low hum of men who had long forgotten tenderness. At a corner table, lit by a single flickering lantern, sat a girl no more than 19, her hands trembling in her lap. Her eyes red-rimmed from silent tears she refused to let fall. Her father, a ragged man with whiskey breath and guilt, burned so deep it no longer stung him, gripped her arm with one hand and a half-empty bottle with the other. "Ain't no use for you at home," he muttered, more to himself than to her. "Debt's debt." She didn't argue. She learned long ago that arguing with a drunk only deepened the bruise. The saloon keeper leaned over the bar, uninterested but watching, the way a crow watches a dying animal. The girl's name was Alara, though no one here bothered to ask. She kept her chin down, praying no man in this room would see what little softness she had left. But fate, cruel and complicated, had other plans. The door swung open again, and this time, a cowboy stepped through, broad-shouldered, steady-eyed, carrying the dust of 100 miles on his coat, but the calm of a man who could start a war with a whisper. His name, whispered from town to town like a legend carved into canyon walls, was Colt Maddox. He walked toward the bar with the unhurried confidence of someone who'd seen death and survived it enough times to stop counting. Men moved out of his way without looking at him directly, as though meeting his eyes might summon trouble they weren't ready for. Colt ordered nothing. He simply stood there, waiting, as though listening to something no one else could hear. And then he heard it, the soft, broken breath of a girl pretending she was not afraid. His gaze shifted, just slightly, and landed on Alara. What he saw made his jaw tighten. A father dragging his daughter forward like cattle, her small wrist crushed in his grip, her future being auctioned off for half a bottle of whiskey and someone's cruel amusement. Her father slammed the bottle on the table. "One night," he announced, his voice desperate, ugly. "One night with her, I don't ask for more. Just gimme coin or drink for her." The saloon erupted in laughter. Coins clinking, chairs scraping, hearts hardening. Alara closed her eyes. She didn't pray for rescue. She no longer believed in miracles. She only prayed for numbness. Before anyone else could move, Colt stepped forward, the floorboards creaking under his boots. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. "I'll pay double," he said, every syllable slow and deliberate. The room froze. Her father straightened, confused, greedy. "Double," he repeated, licking his lips, hope and shame mixing on his face. "A double for her." Colt reached into his coat and pulled out a leather pouch, heavy with gold. The saloon keeper's eyes bulged. A few men exchanged looks, unsure of Colt's intentions. But Alara, trembling, looked up at him for the first time. His eyes were not hungry. They were not cruel. They were steady, warm, angry for her, not at her. "I don't buy women," Colt continued, stepping closer until he towered over her father. "But I'll buy her freedom," her father sputtered, shocked. "Freedom? She's my daughter. You can't just, you sold that right the moment you put a price on her," Colt said, his voice quiet but deadly. The saloon went silent. Even the piano player stopped breathing. Her father hesitated, torn between a conscience he'd buried long ago and the gold glinting on the table. In the end, gold won. "Fine," the man croaked. "You take her, just leave me the drink." Colt slid the gold across the table. Not a single coin rung out. It moved like judgment, heavy and cold. Then he stepped to Alara and gently loosened her father's grip on her arm. She winced as blood returned to her bruised wrist. Colt shrugged off his coat and wrapped it around her shoulders. "You're safe now," he murmured. It was the first kind voice she'd heard in years, but safety was never that simple. A tall man with a scar across his cheek stood up from the shadows. "What's this?" he sneered. "A hero rides in, buys a pretty girl, and we all just clap." Another stood, and then another. The saloon was full of men who thrived on cruelty, and Ilara's rescue felt like a challenge. Colt didn't reach for his gun. He simply placed a hand on Ilara's back, guiding her behind him. "You boys want trouble?" he asked calmly. "Or are you smart enough to sit down?" The scarred man spat. "She's worth more than coin in that bag." Colt sighed, almost disappointed. "Then you're welcome to try." What happened next was fast, violent, and final. 3 men lunged, to hit the ground before drawing their guns. The third managed a shot, but Colt's bullet reached first, knocking the revolver clean from his hand. The room went dead still. No one else dared to move. Colt turned back to Alara. "Let's go," he said softly. She nodded, still in shock, clinging to the coat wrapped around her. As they stepped outside, the evening sun painted the sky in bruised shades of lavender and gold. She looked up at him, unsure how to speak the gratitude and fear tangled inside her. "Why?" she whispered. "Why save me?" Colt paused, then answered with the kind of honesty that reaches into a soul and rearranges it. "Because no one saved my sister," he said quietly. "Because no woman deserves to be sold. And because sometimes, fate puts people in your path for a reason." Alara felt tears slip down her cheeks, warm, healing tears. For the first time in her life, someone saw her as human, as worthy, as precious. Colt helped her onto his horse, climbed up behind her, and with one last glance at the cursed saloon, He rode toward the horizon where broken things sometimes learned to heal. And though she didn't know what tomorrow held, Alara knew this. She was free. She was safe. And she would never again let anyone dim the light she carried within her. As the wind rushed past them and the world opened wide, she whispered a promise to herself, to fate, and maybe to the cowboy who saved her life that she would live again, better, braver, and never in chains. Motivational line for viewers, asterisk, if you love stories of courage, strength, and unexpected heroes, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories to life. SEO package for viral YouTube, reach asterisk. Description, copy-paste friendly asterisk, a heart-wrenching Western. Drama, about a young woman sold by her father for a bottle of whiskey until a mysterious cowboy steps forward and says, "I'd pay double, just to save her life." This emotional story will grip your heart, inspire courage, and remind you that heroes still exist in the darkest corners of the world. Watch till the end for a powerful message of freedom, strength, and redemption. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring Western stories that touch the soul.